Looking at coffee as our cash crop.
We have to really see that we do everything perfectly. The picking, the growing of coffee, looking after it, giving it nutrients. When you give coffee nutrients, it will be heavy.
Just like any other business, if coffee is given maximum attention it deserves, a lot more could be achieved from it.
Nobody will take your coffee in a coffee shop, say in Japan, when you put it on the ground, when it is poor quality.
We want to see how do we plant our coffee from the scions up to when we get the real bean of our coffee. Like before, Farm Smart Show is a show that covers all agriculture business related activities or any commercial farming related activities. It covers economic activities like crop production, which is planting, processing, post-harvest, distribution, marketing, and then sales. And here we are again at our office. Let me call it our farm. I'm here at Zuli Model Farm. And this is Farm Smart Show. My name is Kuishi Takahaman. And today we are going to be looking at coffee. We want to see how do we plant our coffee from the scions up to when we get the real bean of our coffee. Stick around as our farmer takes us through.
Talking about the mother garden, where our coffee seedlings originate from. This is the area. These are categorized in numbers. This is number 1. Where you see those young ones, that is number 2. But as research was still going on, number 2 didn't qualify. It didn't pass the test. So they asked us to remove it from our production. So the ones you see there, the young ones, that is number 3. I replaced it. Number 3 is very good. Its yields are so high. And number 7. Then we have number 8, number 9, and number 10. But as I told you, we need everything because we need all types in our gardens. Don't just rush to the ones which, these ones, zibara, zenjagala zoka. You'll get a problem in the end, as we said about cross-pollination. And even those people who mix, you know, have you ever heard of H-Copo? Those testers. Yeah, H-Copo. Okay, here in our old one, we've been having B. B, they like it. It is of small grains, but it is the one which gives our coffee the aroma, where the whole world needs it. Even Vietnam, they buy our coffee and mix it in theirs. Our coffee is so natural. So we need every class when we are planting. Don't just say, I want that 3 only. No, you will not be having coffee. Here, we just harvested. These ones are still young. They are soft. They are not yet ready. But within 2-3 months, they will be ready. And we shall be harvesting, taking them to make seedlings. These seedlings were given to us by the research center in Mukono, Chituza. That's where you can only get seedlings to make a mother garden. They are fighting very hard to remove the bichupuli seedlings on the market. And remember, I talked of the source of seed. You put in a lot of resources, planting your coffee, buying bad seedlings. After 5 years, with all your energy and money has gone, and the thing doesn't give anything. And you say, I'm paying to BB. So always when you are doing any venture, always get a good start. With the coffee, we have representatives from UCDA on every district. You want to inquire about coffee, ask for where your offices are in your district, go and see a UCDA officer and tell him, I want to plant coffee. Can you direct me where to buy seedlings? Okay? We operate this with a certificate of UCDA. I'll show it to you there. We have a certificate. We are authorized by UCDA to give out seedlings. And it's UCDA which gave us these lines to make a mother garden. So here you'll be in a good position to start with a seedling you are sure of that it will be okay. If you are far away, wherever you are, you go to ask for the district officer for UCDA, go to his office, tell him your problems. and he will direct you as to where to get seedlings and how to plant. He will help you a lot, because those extension officers were put there to help us, to help our farmers improve on the quality of our coffee. Okay? We are number 7. That was 201. No, 221. And Ethiopia was 5th in the whole world. But if we hear what the president is saying and we all get down to work, we can become number 3. Of course, we can't beat Brazil and Vietnam. But these others, we can beat them. We are endowed with our good soils. If we put in force whatever they are telling us to do, we shall be having first-class coffee. And then from there, they are fighting very hard to go to validation, as your theme of today is saying. Okay? This business of picking, selling the ripe ones, or drying on the ground and then sell to somebody, it must stop. You put away your value, what you've strived for all those years, and just give it away to the middleman to benefit. Okay? So we have to fight and see that we produce quality and then go to value addition and then get more money out of our businesses. So we have 10 numbers here. The other old one were 6 numbers I told you, up to H. This one is from 1 up to 10. So this is 1. This was supposed 2, but UCDA told us to remove it. It didn't pass their test. We don't have 2. Instead, I increased on number 3. Number 3 is really good. But we have to have all of them in our garden for the cross-pollination. And for what they call H-copo, the aroma. You can't plant a single type. We have to have all of them. Okay? We have to mix, we have to have a mix-up. So this is number 1, this is 3, that is 3, that is 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 10. CWDs. There are pots there I'm going to show you where we put these shoots. Halfway. We cut diagonally. When this coffee is growing, the taproot will come from here. All what we are seeing up there, those are fibrous roots. But we need, as it grows, it will develop a taproot. That taproot will come with this pinpointed point. The taproot will come from there. That is after, say, about 3-4 years to come. Others, all the roots you see, those are fibrous. Okay? So when we cut it, now we are cutting a shoot which we are going to put in the pot. Why do we leave there these halves of the leaves? It keeps it moving. There is growth here. You saw it started bringing leaves when there were no roots. It is these half leaves we left there. They keep the food. So they can start germinating, coming out, the shoots, but when there are no roots, and you say, how? The food will be coming from here. Not until it develops the leaves, the roots. The roots start looking for the food to send to these young leaves. It will be surviving on these hard ones. That's why we cut it like this. From here, I put it in the other pot you saw for 3 months. But every month I open and give it water, plus some pesticides to avoid insects going inside. So every month we do watering, but in the dry spell, we can do it twice a week, twice a month, because it will be very dry, all the areas will be dry. But when it's raining, it's 1 month. For 3 months. Then we remove it, it goes for hardening. That leaf to harden to be like this one. So in short, that's how we make our seedlings. And you who want to go and put up a plantation, I said, go to qualified person, certified by UCDA. If you don't see him, in every district, there is a UCDA representative. Go there and seek guidance so that you don't do wrong things on your own and you say, hey, Msajoli ya Nimba. Okay? okay? So from here, I will show you there. We get there's a hormone which we call rooting powder. You dip it, then we put it in the other pots with the soil. Then I'll show you how we wrap. It stays here for 3 months. Every month we open and give it water. This one stays there to support it. There's growth here to feed it. The leaves will come first. Then you say, the leaves are out, but there's no root. But they will be surviving on these hard ones, the half ones. Then eventually you also see roots coming out. They come out fibrous first. Then when you planted this coffee, 3 to 4 years, it will develop a taproot from this pinpointed point you see. That's why we cut it like this. We don't cut it like this. Everything you see we are doing has a reason why we do it like that. Because there is, when this thing flowers, you've seen the bees, they will come and do the work of cross-pollination. Okay? If they're not mixed up, they can bring out flowers, but because of the same line, once the bee takes that, crosses there, it will find that it's the same, it won't work, okay? There is no cross-pollination in your garden because we have the same species, okay? So that's why we advocate you people to take all numbers. I'll show you there how, when you come to buy 1,000, I'll show you how we mix it when we reach there, okay? Then me, I mix, then you go, you don't mind, you just plant everything because we have already mixed it.
And here we are at our nursery bed. We're just from the mother garden where our farmers explain to us how we come up or cut our scions. Now we are here at our nursery bed. We want to see how do we plant them in our pots and for how long do they take to mature. Stick around.
Someone to supply you has to show you the mother garden and has to show you this. Okay? Has to show you a mother garden. That's the new law of buying seedlings. One has to show you a mother garden and has to show you the certificate. Then there you can deal with him. But otherwise, if you work with him, you'll be on your own risk. Okay? So that's the new directive from the government. One has to be with a mother garden and has to have a certificate. Okay? That is number one. I remember as I talked to you before about a source of seed. Source of seed in this business is very important. You got to know where you're getting your seeds from. Like we are registered, we are under UCDA, and we work under UCDA directives. UCDA, that is Uganda Coffee Development Authority, the body that takes us. We nursery operators and we coffee growers. So they keep an eye on us ever since we start to making those seedlings up to the final product where we're coming from. So, after putting those shoots, I'll show you how we cut them. We put them there. We have a rooting hormone, rooting powder. You dip it there, then you fix it in that soil. Then after that, you cover it in this polythene material wrapper. You wrap it. You don't need any external air to go inside. It's not supposed. So it gets that heat and it generates those roots to come and the leaves to come. So this is cutting. There's that one of taproot, we just use a seed. But this is cutting. It's not grafted. Many people say a nyunge. No, it's a nyunge. It's cutting. It's coronal cutting. We graft oranges, we graft mangoes. Those are grafted ones where you find the cavera here. You get the other piece, you put it here, then you join. But this one you just cut, and then it develops. This is where we cut. There was nothing, then these branches starts coming out. And even the root is not there, then it develops. So this is how we make our coffee. This is CWD, R, meaning coffee wilt disease resistant. KR, Chituza robusta. We get it from Mukono. Mukono working hand in hand with Naro. So that's where we derive our materials from to give out seedlings which are proper. So this is a cutting CWD-R. WD, coffee wilt disease. Dash R, resistant. From KR1 to KR10, there are 10 lines. This is the new type. After 3 months, it will look like this. It has brought the roots. There were no roots. These are the roots. It has brought the shoot. Okay? Now from here, we put it outside there for 1 month to harden. It is still yellowish. We give it some nutrients, some fertilizers. We want this leaf to be green like this one, and even to harden like this one. Then from there, after 1 month, then you can take it and plant it in your garden. That's how we make these cuttings. This is cutting. As you've seen, it's cutting. It's not what? Like muchungo, muyembe, grafted. No, it's not grafted. The other one, you remove that, you bring that, you tie. But this one is cutting. It's called coronal cutting. This is KR, wilt-free, CWD. This is the new type. This is the one. So, after hardening it there, we cover it like this. You see it has started developing leaves. Then from there, we lift the cavera like the other one up there. It's about to be removed out. So when we remove it out, we take it for hardening. Now I just wanted to show you how these roots develop. This is something which we cut. Today we've cut it. After 3 months, it will be like this one. Okay? There were no roots. The roots have come. And this pinpointed point you see, this one, that's where the taproot comes from. No, this is all fibrous. But the taproot will eventually come when you plant this plantlet in the garden. After 3-4 years, it will bring a taproot. And it will be resistant. And this coffee is good. It has been made to resist dry weather. It has been made to resist pests. Those are the other advantages with the KR, unlike the other ordinary ones. There are some I planted at my home. The rain was almost finished, but they are still surviving. And I really tested it and said, rare. We've been suffering with planting coffee and the sun comes. Zenasimba ulizakala. But this time, this one resists. Those are the advantages of the new type, the KR. You have to harden it, this leaf to bring pure green, chlorophyll to move, and the leaves will be green. Now, because of this color you see, yellowish, it was covered. It wasn't getting pure fresh air. It was too hot inside. But after you've removed it, then we put it in a stage for 1 month for hardening. Hardening means to harden the leaf and the chlorophyll to move, and this leaf will become green, like the other ones you see outside there. Yeah. Those ones are there hardening, but they are ready to be planted. We do them in numbers. That is number what? Number 7, that is number 6. So whenever we do it, we mark it. Because when giving to customer, there are some which are purely very good, and there are some which are not very good. But we need them to be in our gardens because of the cross-pollination process. When these bees you're going to see come, they cross-pollinate. If you plant one type, you may end up with, you heard of mean? It just grows, it doesn't bear fruits. Yeah. So we need that cross-pollination, and we need each class in our gardens. So we have to mix them when we are so critical, knowing what we are mixing. So when you come here, I give you 50 from here, I give you 50 from there. Meanwhile, mixing your plants you're going to put in your garden so that it can be fruitful, so that cross-pollination can take place. Cross-pollination can't take place on one item, a similar item. They have to be different. Then they cross-pollinate. If they don't cross-pollinate, that is what we call it what? Inbreeding? Inbreeding. Even if it is a pig, you just get a male from somewhere far, then bring it to your farm. You can't have one which was produced there, then again it's the one doing the job. They will be dying when they are young, they can't survive because of inbreeding. That is inbreeding. You have to crossbreed. Once you open it all, there's a hole in it. You will find when they have all dried. Okay, it's that heat, and this small heat which comes from here, degenerates, gives it the power to develop. Once the fresh air comes on it, it will not develop. You'll just find everything dried up. Now, if I open these ones today, even if I do the watering, I'll find them burnt. To that extent, that technology, I have no much to explain, but I think it's the heat that gives it life. It's the vice versa. It's a bit awkward, but that's how it is. After these branches have developed 3 or 4, then this one we cut it off in the garden. Then the coffee moves very fast. These are marking blocks. Especially when the garden is big, you have to put it in blocks, knowing that what did I put here, how much did I spend when working on this, how much did I harvest from here, to make your accounts look perfect and to know whether you are working or not. That is, if you are profiting out of it or not. So we put them in blocks. This is number 4. You'll be seeing more of them.
For someone to qualify to be a commercial coffee farmer, you must have these 3 key things. That's the mother garden, which you have seen, the nursery bed, which you have seen very well, where our scions develop from. And then you must have a certificate from Uganda Coffee Development Authority, which shows that you're really qualified to produce quality coffee. We are still with our farmer, Bonnie Johnson, who is taking us through the entire process.
This is Robusta. Here in the central region, we are doing Robusta. Now we are fighting about this wilt, the coffee wilt. We can't go backwards, again, bring our problems of a wilt. Those ones, the seedling, after 8 years, the wilt will come. It can survive, but after 8 years, then the wilt starts hitting you here and there. I got a coffee wilt there. You know, when it attacks an area, it follows. Never knew even that one will be attacked. But now we are trying to change to the new type. I said, for those who have their old gardens, you'll be just switching. Now, if you are putting up a new one, you go for that, okay? Now, these are the ones we've replaced. Now I go to the twig borer. This is the twig borer. It eats all these branches which bear fruits. But good enough, UCDA gave us a pesticide we are using free of charge for the government of Uganda, not for sale. You go to the UCDA representative in your district, you engage him and tell him your problem. They are giving away that pesticides for free of charge, it's not on sale. I think they are carrying out some experiments. Then after that, it will go on the market. But right now they are giving out. So this one, I sprayed it. I'm sure they died. Killed them. This one affects your production. You would have got coffee beans on them, but they are going. Okay? This is the problem now we have. But we are using this new pesticide to see. I've just sprayed here. I haven't seen a new one. I haven't seen one. And I was told for the start, every after 2 weeks I spray. Now I'm about to spray again. But I can see a change. And even my eyes are not good, but when I use my specs, I come, I break, I find them dead. They are very tidy. One lays about 30 eggs, one twig borer. And then after that, those 30, they also lay 30 times 30. So what we've been doing, we've been cutting them off and burning them. We burn all the eggs inside. The eggs which would have hatched and give you problem, you burn them. That is one way of controlling a twig borer. But with the new herbicide, I think we shall be okay. But the problem is, I don't know whether it has spread everywhere. And our things, as you know, who knows who, then they give you. That's still another problem. But initially, get a cutter like the other one, cut them, put them in a bag, go somewhere, or in the kitchen, you pour them in the fire. You will have prevented many to multiply, okay? Yes. So with the new type, we are changing. Here the wilt took it up, okay, as you can see. Now this is the coffee, the original one, the Corona type. the 6 lines. We are changing gradually. But this one is the old chronotype, the 6 lines, A up to H, I talked of. That one is 1 up to 10. This one is A up to H. A up to H, I think those are 6 lines. Okay. Now we still have them. They are not bad. They are not all that bad, but the resistance, because it wiped out all our coffee, and we are just coming back. Okay. So with the old garden, always try to change. You find a tree being eaten, wiped out, you put there a pit, put in another one, a resistant one, and then we move on. And pruning goes on every time. Pruning, I talked of pruning when we are still there. When it becomes clouded, the insects that bite will come because there's no light going in because of this. And these ones even consume the fertility, the nutrients this tree would have consumed, and this berry to grow big. So this one is a problem. All the time you remove them. That is what they call offshoot removing or pruning. Then when your tree is cleaned, then it's okay. Here, we get every paddock we come, we remove them. This is what we call offshoot cleaning. These insects, once it is dark, they will harbor there. But when there's light, they can't come. Yes. Okay? And you know they are so hot when it pinches you. So, stamping, this tree was stamped. It was cut off. You see? You may think that this is a young garden. It's an old one. But we keep on stamping. You see? Then it develops the branches. Here, the productivity is so high when this tree is still here. But when it grows tall, the ones are going to stay. They have already removed what was remaining here. We are going to cut it. We are going to cut this one. This is what we call stamping. We cut them. We don't let it develop branches here as in the villages there. You see one tree growing wrong. No. Now we are going to go with this one. But good enough, we are going to start off with harvesting. Not cutting everything and we wait. You have to see that it involves the brassica, the hair, and then these ones will go. Okay? So that's how we maintain our gardens. We weed. We fight the weeds. This one, the wilt ate me. This one, the wilt ate. That one, the wilt. That's how it is eating us.
Our farmer has explained to us that these days we no longer use seedlings, but we use cuttings, because the other one is the old, let me call it like old fashioned or old version. Right now we use stems, we no longer use seedlings.
So whenever you stamp this coffee, your coffee may look, because I am sure you might say that we've just planted it, but it has been here for 10 years. But this is the way we look after it. If you don't look after it, it will look older and older. Coffee never gets old. Coffee, it's you who either gets it old or you maintain the fresh look, as you see this one. So we do the stamping. We do the stamping, there are signs. Now, like that one. We left these brassica. These are to replace the other one. Always we try, when we are plucking off the shoots, the down ones, we don't remove them if we are about to cut the older one. Otherwise, if you cut it completely, you will spend seasons without harvesting coffee. So in order to maintain the harvest, you have to calculate your moves when dealing with these trees. Always, you have to count it. Normally here, when people come to remove the offshoots, I just tell them, remove the upper ones. 1.5 foot, don't go there. There, someone with technique come in, sees what has to remain there. But these other people who move very fast, you just tell him, you remove the upper ones. Because you need them, if you remove the older one, not to take a long time without harvesting. Now this one is going to be off, but already this one is showing you indications that we are going to harvest. So that's how we balance and maintain our coffee. So this is the old type. I talked of the KR, CWD. Then I talked about the ordinary coronal type. First and foremost, this is Robusta. We do Robusta in the central region. Don't mix up this thing. Arabica is grown on the higher altitudes, like in Mbale and Kasese, Fort Portal. That's where Arabica is. Then to our neighbors, Ethiopia, that's what they do mostly because of the altitude. Higher latitude, ours here is normal, it's below. So Robusta does better. This is Robusta. We have only two types in Uganda, Arabica and Robusta. But in the central region, we deal in Robusta. Whether Elite, whether the old corridor, whether the new one, that is Robusta. About the fertilizers, we have chicken waste. Chicken manure is what we use. But if you don't have it, if you don't have cow dung, those are all natural fertilizers. Then you go to artificial fertilizers. Artificial fertilizers, we are talking about NPK. We are talking about urea. We are talking about corn. DAP we don't use. DAP you can use it when you are growing the fresh seedlings. As I will show you, you can put them down, put on soil, then put on the seedling. DAP helps, rejuvenates the young roots to move very fast. Then from there, you have to use urea. When it starts flowering, giving you product, then use NPK and corn. Okay? So those are the two types of fertilizers, natural and artificial. It depends how you stand, whether you have chicken or cows, then use. If you don't have, you go to the shop. A bag covers 250 trees. So in an acre, we use 2 bags of NPK. We do it twice a year. We do it in the rainy seasons. And don't use it when the rains are just starting, like now as we're expecting rain. It might wash it away. You wait a bit, as it decreases, then you apply it. Okay? And I talked of the preventive measures of soil erosion and eroding away our fertility. We put there trenches, like the ones you see there. Even here, I think you've seen them. To check on the speed of the water. Once you don't put them there, it will drive everything up the other forest. That's why you see the forest is so good looking. Okay? So you have to fight with soil erosion to contain the topsoil and to retain your nutrients in the soil. Okay? So, in short, that is how we do the weeding. You can either use a hoe, you can spray, you can slash. Whichever. Okay? So that is maintaining. Then picking. We remove the red one only, the red one. We need the red one to avoid unnecessary waste of our coffee, which would have ripened in 3 days, 4 days, to call it black bean. Okay? It is all your coffee. I don't see why you just pull. Pick the red one. 2, 3 days you will come back. Again you get it. Instead of wasting it, because you put in a lot of money. Okay? We have to maintain our standards in picking coffee. Okay? We have to pick the red ones and maintain the high value. That's why at times they say Ugandan coffee, the prices have gone down because we just pick anyhow. We dry anyhow in the soil, no tablet, no what. With all those mistakes we do, and they say Ugandan coffee has no price. Because there are machines there that detect the standard. Coffee, we bring it here. So we pour it on these racks. It has a fiber material on it, which doesn't allow the rust from the other underneath katimba to touch on the coffee. UCDA doesn't allow us to use wire mesh because it rusts and then it affects the quality of our coffee and it's dangerous to human life. You know the consequences of cancer and what. So they're advocating to use fibrous materials, not wire mesh. Because you say, why don't I buy my katimba and put it here? It is dangerous. At night it rusts with a soot. In the morning, it has rusted. When you bring the coffee, you pour on it, you change. Those rusts go, the rusts go with the rusted material go with the coffee. And hence, making our coffee to be of poor quality. You know, all those machines they use there, they detect everything, even the soil, when you just put it on bare soil. That's why government is giving out to tarpaulins, to farmers, small scale. They're giving out tarpaulins, trying to tell people to avoid pouring coffee on the bare ground. And in fact, if they get you, you can be taken into prison and be charged. You can be taken to court because it's a regulation passed by UCDA. They are very, very bitter on keeping the standards of our coffee. It is your coffee, but it can take you to Chitaria near here, and they give you free accommodation for the rest of your life. Even if it is 10 years, they would have spoiled your life, really. So we try to keep and teach our people how to keep quality, how to do our work in a presentable way, following the guidelines of UCDA. So to you young people, I know your parents there grow coffee, try to grasp all this information you've got from here to really help our country. Whenever you say something very constructive to your father or to your neighbor, you will have done a great job for this nation. So in short, this is where we put our coffee. This one rack takes 20 bags, another 20 bags. But we are in a process of putting up a solar dryer. We are moving to a solar dryer. You see, we've been coming, putting coffee down, putting on tarpaulins, now putting it up. Now we are going to solar dryer. That is what the theme today says, value addition. So always we try to work, but try to move ahead, advance, go with the advancements. You know, don't just say, but we have to do it if we are to advance. We are going to, the theme for today, value addition. Nobody will take your coffee in say in a coffee shop, say in Japan, when you put it on the ground, when it is poor quality. We are going to get many businessmen coming, giving us business to give them coffee. Others are chocolate factories. You know, they make chocolates. And then they find that you put it on the ground, you just harvest the green ones and bring here too much black bean. So we have to really see that we do everything perfectly. The picking, the growing of coffee, looking after it, giving it nutrients. When you give coffee nutrients, it will be heavy. It will be heavy. Farm coffee, usually these traders say, is a farm. Because farm people use fertilizers. But our judges there, 1 tree, 2 trees, it just harvests. But they will be so light. And then you say, why is it farm coffee so heavy? Because the way we look after it, the nutrients we give it, it gives it really what is deserved of a good coffee production. So in short, this is our drying surface area. We are going to solar. Solar, we maintain the heat. We regulate the heat. That's the greatest advantage. Here, we just put it out on the bare sun. And even it dries past, which is very wrong. But there we shall be calculating our warmth with the thermometer, okay? And knowing where we stop. And the value for that coffee, if a buyer comes, is quite different from this dried coffee, which is exposed to the sun. Here, it takes about 2 weeks, but every 30 minutes, one has to be here turning it up and down. But in a dryer, it can take, say, 1 week, depending on the sunshine. Even here, depending on the sunshine, assuming that the sunshine is like, even before you came, it threatened to rain. Since morning, there was no sunshine. It had just come when you came. Yeah, but assuming that standards are, the conditions are the same, it starts from the morning up to dawn, then I think it can take 2 weeks. Then the solar, it can take about 4 days, 3 days. Yeah, that's the difference. But there's too much quality there, because there you regulate the heat. Here we don't regulate the heat.
Zuri Model Farm is located in Wakiso district. The sub-county is Namayumba, and we're in Chasa parish, or the village is Chasa. And it is seated on about 300 acres of land, and we do quite a number of projects. We do have a bee section, we do have broilers, we do have matoke, we do have coffee, we plant a lot of trees, and then also do a lot of trainings within our communities. So it is an integration of so many activities that we try to do to develop the farm, to develop the communities around us, and also the people that come to learn from us. Good to notice that we are advancing so much in agriculture. There's a lot of technology that is being introduced. We have a lot of varieties of crops that have been introduced, a lot of breeds of animals that have been introduced that all enhance the productivity of the farming sector. And so we do a lot of technology in terms of the tractors we use, the harvesters, the irrigation, data capture through the apps that we get from the developers, which all help us in, for instance, knowing when to plant in terms of the climate, when to harvest or when to spray or what to spray. So all these technologies are being adopted, and we think with the involvement of the young minds, who are even sharper than our older generations, we should be able to see more innovations coming up and therefore improving agriculture. We are hosting a number of students from different schools in their 9th annual agricultural farm camp. These are camps that they host every year where different schools converge together. This one was hosted by Gayaza High School, and so we have a number of schools that have come to participate in this national farm camp. Well, so it is very important for students to engage in agriculture because, first of all, I've grown up hearing or learning that agriculture is the backbone of every nation, because where there is no food, there is a lot of chaos. We've seen countries where people have rioted because of lack of food in the communities or in the society, and so we think that having food is something that is very important, and the only way we can have that sustainability of food is by encouraging the young minds to participate in agriculture and not leave it to the people that we've grown up knowing that they are the only people who are key players in agriculture, like our grandparents, our parents, are the people we've grown up seeing farming. But it's now high time that the younger minds also join into the practice and enjoy the benefits and also do it, because it's also changing. It's no longer the artisan way we're doing it of just food to table, food to mouth. No, we now have other avenues where people can actually do agriculture commercially and earn a living. I would like to encourage parents to motivate their children into learning and liking and loving agriculture. Farming is no longer an issue of who has read what or who has what or the background. Farming is for everyone. So many people now who are those cool professions, I call them cool because that's what our young minds here aspire to learn more. They want to be doctors, they want to be engineers, they want to be lawyers, and no one so much thinks about farming. These days, it's no longer about that, because food is something that we'll always need. There are so many opportunities that are coming out of farming. I like their theme this year, which has to do with value addition and the opportunities that come along the value addition, the value chain of agriculture. So there are so many opportunities that these people can actually get into in terms of the real farming, in terms of processing, in terms of marketing, in terms of bringing up new innovations, so that as we grow, we do not leave the younger minds into these other things and then let the farming aspect die out. Because we'll, at the end of the day, need food to eat. We'll need medicines, which actually come from most of these crops, and all that.
That's it in our show today. But remember, Farm Smart Show is a program that is worthy our attention and investment because it improves the farmers, traders, investors and consumers' performance and awareness of the agriculture sector. So do not hesitate being part of our family by following up all our shows and investing in us, of course. I'm sure it's the right decision.